Welcome to the report from Tiger Mountain, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they've gone too far, the woke crew. They've come for one of my favourite shows on television, Doctor Who, ladies and gentlemen. I've loved that show since I was about 5. That's a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to talk about that tonight on the report from Tiger Mountain. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, woke Doctor Who is here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you know that, I am such a fan of Doctor Who that I would actually get Doctor Who magazine. That's how much of a geek I am. I'm not a Trekkie, but I am a fan of Doctor Who. I'm actually a fan of the old show. I've never been a particular fan of the new show, but the new show, this is what your companion and your doctor would look like. This was one of the more popular new doctors, David Tennant, Catherine Tate. She was like a companion for a long time, and they brought them back recently because they're bringing in a new doctor. I mean, this is not the beginning of what you would call woke Doctor Who. It started when they decided to make Doctor Who a woman, which, who the hell wants to see Nurse Who? You know what I mean? Like, a long time ago, the Doctor has been a white male since William Hartnell, who was the fantastic first Doctor. I am, a huge fan of the original series. I love William Hartnell, I love Patrick Troughton, I love John Pertwee, I love Tom Baker, I liked Peter Davison. Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, the show began to lose its appeal, but I'm still a fan of that. I still like that stuff, and it has a certain 80s kitschiness that I enjoy. And then, obviously, the show went into into nowhere land, and in the 1990s they did a telly movie that was sort of somewhat successful, and then in the 2000s Russell T Davies, who was like a gay English producer, got involved and said, I want to bring back Doctor Who. And when he first brought it back, he had Christopher Eccleston come in for one season, and he had this story of Rose, and it was Doctor Who was a bit more romantic, and it was different, but it wasn't so bad. I was tentatively supportive of it. And then they had David Tennant come along, and he had a successful run of about 3 or 4 years. And then they brought in Matt Smith. He came in for another 3 years, and that was okay. And then they brought in Peter Capaldi, and he had another 3. Peter Capaldi was a great choice, because to me the Doctor should always be played by an older man. I thought Matt Smith was a bit funny because he was too young and he didn't seem very doctorish, and I sort of got used to him. But still, I'm not a huge fan of the new show, but I have sort of tolerated it. But then they decided to go woke and make Doctor Who a female, which is just patently ridiculous. And they've done other kind of woke things. They had storylines, because the Doctor was only meant to go through so many regenerations. I think it was 13, and they've obviously passed that now. So they invented something in some plot device where the Doctor is almost eternal. I can't remember the name of the episode. It was in the new comeback shows. And they made out that the first Doctor of all was a black woman, right? And that's when I knew they were heading down the path of, woke ideology. But before William Hartnell, Doctor Who was apparently a black woman. So the original Doctor was apparently a black, which is absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? The original Doctor is William Hartnell. He had a granddaughter, Susan, who he travelled with, and they're re-releasing some of those early episodes on Blu-ray. Season 2, I think, came out recently, and part of the collection. So I'm a big fan of all this. I know a lot about Doctor Who. So anyway, I really didn't watch much of the female Doctor. It was woke. There are a couple of episodes that I guess you could say are passable. Occasionally they get in someone like Mark Gatiss from the League of Gentlemen, or other writers. To me, the whole show should be run by Charlie Brooker. He would be perfect for the show. He does Black Mirror, and he does good episodic shows, and obviously Doctor Who is an episodic show, and if you could somehow get Charlie Brooker to do Doctor Who, that would be incredible. But Russell T Davies has come back, and he's decided to go full diversity, equity and inclusion, and this is what we've got, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the ghetto Doctor, who, first of all, if you're going to cast a black guy as the Doctor, okay, I'm not supportive of that idea, full stop. But if you're going to do it, get someone like Richard Ayoade from like the It Crew, or the It Crowd, or whatever that show is. He played a kind of geeky black guy into science, and he did it very well, and he would be quite believable as a Time Lord. But they get this kind of 20-year-old gay actor from, from London, around London, who knows, maybe from Manchester, I don't know, and he's just nothing like the Doctor. They've got a sort of, blonde female companion. Of course they have a blonde girl girl, a blonde, Aryan white girl, because she's going to obviously have some kind of romance with the new Black Doctor, because that's again part of the diversity, equity bullshit. And then, what else have they done? They had in the transition show between the Black Doctor and the White Doctor, they had a trans companion, just for I think an episode or two. Typical, so they've had the trans in there, and they've brought back a character called Maestro that sounds a lot like the Master, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a she, not a male, and it's played by a drag queen called Jinxie, some Monsoon or some fucking ridiculous name. So basically, they've wrecked Doctor Who. There's this meme going around, a hashtag, rest in peace, Doctor Who, and that's exactly what's happened, ladies and gentlemen. They fucked this show up. I still get into the classic series, like Tom Baker here, the collection. I'll stick to this, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, I am a legitimate big fan of the show. I thought it was, the show did have some progressive ideas in it back in the day, but it also had a lot of very dark ideas that dealt with, fascist topics, the Daleks, the Cybermen, and many of these villains that have appeared in Doctor Who. So it's a very interesting show, I thought, in the classic series. To me, that is canon, and a lot of what they've done in the new show is not canon, in my opinion, and they've fucked it up. And Russell T Davies, when he brought the show back, that was good on him, but now he's just gone super woke and he's basically destroying the show. The first 2 episodes have featured some space babies and like this kind of drag queen master, and it sounds utterly ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't support the bit of it. So that's it. That's my thoughts on woke Doctor Who.